Good evening, friends. Today we have Padma Shri Mohandas Pai, Chairman of Aran Company and co-founder of Akshaya Patra, back with us to discuss economic and other psychological issues faced by the Indian middle classes and its solution during the pandemic and after. Welcome, sir, to our channel.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Thank you, sir. Sir, the ongoing lockdown has crippled the Indian economy and sparked unparalleled distress. It has turned the so-called middle class into the new poor identities of the society, while those categorized below the poverty line are getting some sort of assistance in the form of cooked food, ration, or financial aid from the center and state governments or NGOs and philanthropists. An overwhelming majority of the middle classes are left high and dry. A BPL family with a white ration card, for instance, varies in some states. They get rupees 1,500 financial aid and 12 kilos of rice, and they are also entitled for assistance from the center as relief during the lockdown period. Even those who have no ration cards can get cooked food being supplied by the government agencies or numerous NGOs and philanthropists. They're also seen standing in queues to receive food rations being distributed by various socio-religious organizations. However, the middle classes are caught in a dilemma as their dignity holds them back from extending their hands to seek aid, while the NGOs and philanthropists will be reluctant to give any assistance lest they feel bad about it, the activists say. Many have lost jobs, their parents, some of them would be retired, and private sectors don't offer pension or medical cover. Middle classes have suffered the most. Here we also mean working classes and small businessmen. And sadly, elections have never fought on issues concerning middle classes. So you have always expressed your opinion through your blogs, your chats, and in social media. What do you think of the situation, sir? Should there not be consideration set aside by the government for them, like medical covers or waivers of EMIs and so on, sir?
Well, Meena, my personal view is that this COVID has been devastating for everybody in this country. The middle class, lower middle class, the poorer class have been devastated. And I think for the poorer classes, the government has done something, like you said, giving them free food, giving them a little bit of money, etc. The lower middle classes and middle classes, the tax-paying classes, people who pay income tax, little bit of income tax, are people who pay taxes because they purchase things in much more than the poorer classes, have been left in the lurch.
Yeah.
Even the last time when COVID won, we had only a situation where government said that there'll be a moratorium on EMI, which was very good. After that, they said, because the Supreme Court, that there'll be no interest on interest. But there was some relief for people who could go and withdraw from their own Provident Fund. And I think 35 lakh, 40 lakh people withdrew some money from the Provident Fund, but this is their own money. It is not the government's money. And I think overall, we are not seeing much come from the government. Maybe what the government could have done is put some money into the Provident Fund accounts. You know, there are maybe 7.5, 8 crore people in the Provident Fund accounts. And for those who have paid regular contribution for 12 months before COVID, they could have put some little bit of money as a gesture. They could also reduce the income tax for many people to say that here's the gesture. Because what is upsetting is that there is no sympathy or empathy from the government. They're only looking after the poorer classes, which are, of course, 60-65% of this country. And the middle classes who have struggled, who have come up, like you said, their self-respect prevents them from putting out their hand.
Absolutely.
They're in deep pain. So many of them have lost their job. They're unsure when things are going to happen. And there is no social security for them. And the lack of social security for them is hurting them. Many of them don't have medical insurance. Modi has given Ayushman Bharat to 500 million Indians, that is 10 crore families. But I wish he'll have an Ayushman Bharat scheme for the middle class, where the middle class can pay some money. I mean, they don't, they should. He doesn't have to bother to give them free, but at least they can pay some money, and the cost will come down. And even for the seniors too, there should be some kind of a national insurance program which will be much lower cost, and either they can pay or the companies can pay. And we also need to look at unemployment insurance. For example, those who are paid salaries, who pay taxes, I think they should create an unemployment fund and try to get some unemployment insurance. And maybe this time, maybe at the end of the month, they should also create a moratorium for EMI for, let us say, April, May, and June at least. They have done it, but I think there's something that they can look at. See, Meena, the important thing is to sympathize with people and demonstrate empathy.
Yes.
And that is what makes people hurt. Remember, in COVID too, a very large number of the middle class have been hurt badly. They've gone to hospital. They spend a lot of money for hospitalization. Their savings have been devastated. But they have not seen any relief because many of them are paying beyond medical insurance.
Yes.
I think there the government could work out a scheme. But I think something has to happen with the government. I hope the government is listening and try to do something here, because
Yes.
this is really hurt many more people than in the first COVID. First COVID, people were hurt, but they could bear it because they had some savings. And much of the savings is getting exhausted.
Yes.
Because people
Yes.
looking back to coming back after nearly a year and getting in the job and resuming their life. Now economic activity has been hurt. So I hope the lockdown also does not extend beyond May. It opens up because you'll see, Meena, that about 2.5 crore people have got COVID. So they got antibodies.
Yeah.
Now they can go back to work. And another about maybe, I think 18 crore vaccines have been given, or maybe 20 crore will be given by the end of the month, out of which about maybe 16 to 17 crores will be given the first shot.
Yeah.
So overall, we could say nearly 20 crore people will be given the first shot. 20 crore out of 90 crore. 90 crore the population, which is above 18. So 20 crore out of the 90 crore would have got some kind of protection. And maybe they should open up to say those who have taken the first shot can put on a mask and go back to work, so that economic activity will start. And they urge everybody to get at least one shot, so that by end of June, at least another 10-15 crore people will at least take the first shot. Because all evidence proves that if you have at least one shot of the vaccine, your chances of becoming very severe is very much less. You'll be much more protected than not having the vaccine at all. So I think it's important for government to show a gesture. Please remember, in the United States, for all the income tax payers, government gives some money into their account for everybody, whether a rich or poor, just because you pay income tax. And in the United States, out of 331 million people, about 160 million have social security or pay income tax.
Yeah.
Of course, in India, only about maybe 8 crore people pay income tax. That's quite a low percentage, but because you must remember that we are a very poor country, maybe 9 crore or 10 crore should pay, maybe 1 or 2 crore are not paying, but most people are paying their income tax. And I think, honestly, I believe most people, 95% of people in this country are very honest. Maybe 5% will do something wrong, out of which 1% may be crooks. Everybody is not a crook. They're all honest, hardworking Indians who work very, very hard to bring up their children, to meet their bills, and to just have a decent living. So I think government should do something for them.
Yes. So, as more and more youngsters and middle-aged people are being made jobless due to companies facing loss, psychological factors are also affecting them, as in a sense of fear, insecurity about their skills, perhaps family discord due to financial commitments. So, there are a lot of psychological problems also affecting them. So,
Meena, my view is very simple. We as the middle class and lower middle class must understand that nobody will come to our help. We have a little bit of pride to put our hand out. And I think it's very important for us to understand that to face a crisis, we must always be part of the community.
Yeah.
I think being part of the community is extremely important. For example, I am a part of the Konkani community. Last time, many of us got together, and for a few hundred families, we gave a monthly DBT for 3 months. Now, again, people have got together, a few names. There are a couple of 3 or 4,000 now. A lot more people are hurt. And we're trying to arrange a little bit of money to them for the next 2 or 3 weeks, just to show a gesture. So I think the first thing is we must all be part of some group or a community who can help each other to the maximum extent. Help in the sense they can empathize, we can share our woes, we can share our sorrows, we can share our joy. So you're part of a group, you don't feel alone. Loneliness, feeling alone is a terrible, terrible feeling, because we are all social creatures. That's very important. Second, we must learn a lesson that we must save and keep money in the bank. You must always have savings. Never live a luxurious life for the middle class, because nobody is going to help you out. We must always save, and you must make sure that we live a frugal existence. Be frugal.
Yeah.
Don't try to overspend your money. Don't try to borrow too much for consumption. Borrowing money for a house is okay, but borrowing money for other things for consumption is not okay, because the large part of your income will go away. Try to save so that you have something for a rainy day.
Yeah.
Third thing you must do is always make sure you have proper medical insurance. Because today, the biggest element of cost for you during a lifetime is going to be medical expenses and school children fees.
Yeah.
Because school fees and school fees and college fees are very high. Many people are even not even having babies. You know, I read an article which said a woman with a double graduate degree has just one baby. A graduate has one and a half. One and a half means that the two women have three babies between them, right?
Yeah.
One will have one will have two. So I think depending on education level, people are having lesser babies, because I believe if you have a baby, you want to educate them, it will cost you 1 crore. You know, preschool fees, school fees, your college fees, till you get a degree and get them make sure they do well, it'll cost you 1 crore, because you want the best for your children. And all education, professional education has become very, very expensive. So you must make sure that you have medical insurance. And the third thing, you must create, as you leave, as you get older, you must create a pension fund for yourself. So many people who retire just get the Provident Fund and get a gratuity. It is not too much, because they're lump sum and they're not getting anything month by month. Because salaried people, we live month by month. We live from paycheck to paycheck, so many of us. So if you don't get a monthly payment, that you are in deep trouble. So you must have a pension payment, and that can come only out of savings. And savings have to be when you're much younger. Because as you grow older, you have children, you got to spend on them, you got to take care of them, and you must do this. So I think living has become much more expensive, much more difficult for everybody. Now inflation is high, and we have got a lot more wants. We want a bigger house, we want a bigger car, we want to go for a foreign holiday, we want so many things, and we may not have the money. We spend all the money thinking that tomorrow is going to be a bright day. Tomorrow may not be a bright day. So I think all of us have to rethink our lives. But the most important thing is to be part of a community. Family they should be part of your family. Keep in touch with the family. Family will help you out. Your friends will help you out. Be part of a community, and that will give you solace at times of crisis.
Also, sir, is it very important to have a schedule? I mean, every day, a routine, so that you don't think it's a holiday and just waste time, or you can't get back after the COVID period.
Very, very true. Very, very true, Meena, because I read some time ago, maybe 1 year ago, when, this Farooq Abdullah's son, Omar Abdullah, came out. He was under house arrest for some time. They asked him, what did he do? He said, look, I was under house arrest. I was not allowed to go out. So I made a schedule for the day. You get up in the morning, then you maybe go to the gym, then you have a breakfast, then you sit down and do some reading, then you have some lunch, then walk in the house, then you exercise, and then you do some reading, then you have dinner or talk to friends. I mean, if I shut down, you can't talk to friends. Even I made a schedule. I made sure that you get up in the morning, you go to the gym, you exercise, then you have breakfast, then come and do some work, complete your email, do some reading, lunch, and make sure that you help your wife and at least prepare your breakfast and clean some dishes, because there's nobody at home. And then you go to the gym in the evening, and then in the evening maybe you go and sleep and get up early. So we have a schedule, and once a week maybe you talk to friends or something like that. And the schedule is what kept you in good shape. Mentally you will be good shape because you follow a schedule. And then try not to worry too much. Try not to worry about the future, because this too will go away. One thing we need to understand: whatever be your pain, whatever be your great joy, the sun will rise in the morning and set in the evening. The world will go on, whether you are there or not there. So you must take all that and have a regular schedule, especially in time of stress. When you're locked down, you can't go out, you can't meet friends, you can't talk to them, you can't even have a cup of tea with somebody, have a masala dosa, or chat and gossip. You can't do all that. You can't go to the park for a walk. You're locked in. So there's the only schedule that keeps you sane. You're very right. You must have a regular schedule and follow that. And the joy in the schedule will keep your mind active and will give you that kind of extra, courage that you need.
Also, sir, it's important not to watch TV all the time, because all mainstream media is only covering COVID issues.
Yeah, I think, what I do is I watch a lot of documentaries and historical documentaries. National Geographic, Animal Kingdom, and documentaries about history and everything else. Because that keeps you very active, and do a little bit of reading. And of course, we spend too much time on your iPad or screens. But there's so much of content. I don't watch too much on Netflix, because there are too many bad movies there. Not very good movies. I think, they're very abusive.
Yeah, that is an agenda.
Yeah, they have an agenda. They're very abusive Hindu community. But on YouTube, a lot of people are putting up content, a lot of discussions are there. I'm sure your channel also gets a lot of hits, and a lot of people want to
Thank
come
you,
and
sir.
speak. Yeah. So I think you must look at all that and try to educate yourself. It's a good occasion for everybody to read and to come up to speed and to get educated. And see, I mean, just see TV for half an hour, 1 hour, just to know what is happening, who's fighting whom, who's doing everything. But if you're on Twitter or if you're on social media, you come to know anyway.
Yeah. Yes, sir. For decades, sir, India's vast middle class population has been a key engine to drive the economy, contributing to the growth of several sectors. As a crushing blow to the dreams of millions of middle class people in India and worsened India's economic woes since early 2020, a CMI report from August 17 said salaried jobs have taken the biggest sustained hit in the current COVID-19 induced lockdown. So, it's like a cycle, sir. Everything, the companies are not doing well, so they fire their employees, and the employees have nowhere to go. So it's a completely sort of a vicious cycle. So what is there some solution to this, sir?
Well, Mina, we cannot force companies to keep people on the payroll if they're not doing well. What we can appeal to them is to make sure that maybe they cut the salary but don't sack people.
Yeah.
And for example, we told all the startups in the beginning of the COVID last year that please don't sack people, cut everybody's salary, it's fine. Make sure people lower level get enough to keep body and soul together. Senior people take a deeper cut. In our own companies, we did all that. And I think we are able to make sure that nobody is sacked. And people know, and there's pain all through. Sacking people is not a good idea. It's not done. It's very unethical, very insensitive, and not not compassionate. I think is not very good. It reflects on you, the people who run the business. And I think very good companies have not sacked anybody. They've taken pay cuts, etc. And I think it's very also important as a society we bring in some kind of unemployment insurance, so that every month you make a contribution, and that contribution is used to give you some kind of a income when you are laid off or in between jobs, etc. So we need to plan for that much better. And I think the time has come for India, because we don't have enough social security, a comprehensive social security mechanism where people go on contributing and get it back for a period of time. I think something that has to be done. Apart from savings, some kind of insurance program also is required, where employees contribute, and this can become something because to help you when some crisis comes. And government also should relook at its finances and make sure when a crisis comes, they offer some kind of support. Nobody is asking for huge amounts of money. People just want some support. And I think the support is required for all sections of society who have been hurt.
Yeah. Also, sir, see, there is a sense of hoarding also happening amongst people. So a lot of the commodities and the grocery shops have started a token system where you get your stuff only after 3 days or 4 days. So it's like you can't order more than one. So that's also a system that our people are getting used to. But it's what is your advice to such people who hoard stuff?
Well, I would say that, I would advise everybody, don't hoard stuff. There'll be enough for everybody. There's a supply chain problem. Let's admit it, because you're not able to travel across the country. Your supplies come from all over the country. They're also shut down. They're not able to travel. So there is going to be a problem for a while. And hoarding will only make it worse. So don't hoard. Don't hoard anything. Make sure that, you manage your needs for some time till things improve. And learn to live with some shortages in case shortages come. Because what is the option, Meena? There is no option. If things are not available, there is no option. You can scream and dance and jump up and down, abuse everybody. What can you do? There's nothing you can do. You're helpless, right? So you just have to learn to live with it and make sure that, you try to manage it for some time till things improve. I thought things are improving in February, March, April. Till April second week, it suddenly blew up. And it was a very shocking thing that happened again.
So also the fact that the Congress toolkit has been exposed. So in the midst of a biowarfare, we are also facing attacks from Congress in this way, in this manner, so as to derail Modi's government. So this is really bad for the country, isn't it? It's sort of a treachery.
Meena, I'm unable to understand why the Congress party is trying to do all this stuff to hurt India just because they hurt Modi. Now you can let's say don't like your political rival. But why are you taking out your hate on the country? And what do they think? They think we're all idiots. We don't know what is happening. We don't know when we can, that we also read, we also understand all this. And do all these people think that everybody is going to like it and vote for them just because they're going after Modi, they're abusing this country? Meena, what these political people don't understand, especially the Lutyens crowd who think they want to rule, and the JNU crowd who are ideologically perverse, what they don't understand is the great majority of people of this country are patriotic nationalists.
Yes.
Patriotic, they love their country. Nationalists, because they'll always root for the country and stand by the country. They put the country first. That's the nature, because we have a country after a long period of time. We are a civilization. Now we have a country, a proper country with a passport, etc. Now, if you go on abusing the country, they have to come back to the educated people, middle class people also for their votes. And today, more and more people read, more and more people understand, more and more people know what they're doing. Do you think all these people are going to vote for them? They're going to forget about all this? When you're hitting at the root of your own existence, abusing your country in front of everybody. And I see some of the streets, some Sonia Falero or somebody who's the daughter of a politician of Goa.
A wife of Rahul Gandhi's business partner.
Yes, I mean, how can she make the stupid thing that Modi virus? It should be called a Sonia virus against her. Sonia Falero is Sonia virus, right? I mean, you should not make such comments, right? I mean, they think they're being very smart and they're showing off. But ordinary people, when they read all that, they get very angry and upset. And do you think that people are going to vote for them? Just the other day, I saw a tweet by Kapil Sibal gloating that the BJP lost the election. In West Bengal, gloating. I replied back and said, man, aren't you shocked and sad that you didn't get a single seat for the first time in 70 years
exactly.
in Bengal? You've been wiped out. You and your partner, CPIM, have been wiped out. Aren't you shocked? Aren't you surprised? Should you show that you are a national party? You're supposed to be the grand old party of this country. You have been wiped out in many parts of India. You're no longer there. And nobody cares for you. And you're gloating about somebody who lost. Somebody who thought they'll win and they lost. But what about you? I mean, I don't understand this kind of mentality. They want to hurt somebody whom they hate because they lost. They will put a self-destruct button and destroy themselves, but they will not give up the hate. I don't know what, they must look out for themselves, and then they must see that, they at least offer an alternative. What we want in India is the opposition which can offer an alternative. They always abuse Modi, but they have nothing to offer us. Today, if you look at the Congress party, nobody knows what they stand for. What do you think the Congress stands for today? I don't know what they stand for. There's nothing they stand for. They don't explain. We are a secular party. What is secularism? Minority appeasement is not secularism. Appeasing some people, abusing the majority community always is not secularism. And then you abuse the majority community before the election. You put a mundu and go to the temple and think that everybody think that you are this. I mean, what kind of rubbish is that? We are not idiots. They think the people of this country are idiots. They're all born to rule. They just have to wave their hand and they'll get the vote. It's not so. People are thinking, people are considered, people will decide for themselves. They're very smart. Everybody is a smart person. So I don't know what they're trying to do. I mean, it's a very shameful decline of politics on their part.
So also recently, WHO and said that there's going to be a third wave which will affect the younger generation. And a similar thing was echoed by Kejriwal when he said that Singapore already has this and India is also going to get it soon.
Well, Meena, people are saying that when the third wave comes, children are going to be hurt because children are not being vaccinated. And I think it's an important thing that we must take care of. We must ask all our scientists and everybody, what do we do? Now, one thing you must do is you must make sure for the next 1 year at least, children are kept safe. They maintain social distancing. When they go out, they wear masks. And we all take care of our children and make sure they're safe. So far, not many have got it. But we don't know what is going to happen. And there's a fear. And soon you must make sure that children below 18 also get vaccinated. Now, they have not had trials for children below 18. Now they just ordered trials, I think 5 to 15 and children, because no doctor or nobody has said whether the vaccine is good for children. And when you got very young children, you're very scared. So keep your children safe. Don't allow outsiders to come to your house for the next 1 year. Stay away from mixing with people if you have a child, and keep the child with you. Take care of a child and just be careful. Because if you're careful and take care of yourself, the chance of getting COVID is dramatically come down. And I think it's very important to work with the government to make sure that vaccination comes up. Now, government has given some data. hopefully by July, August, many more 20 crore vaccines will come every month. More and more people will get vaccines, and we have a greater safety now than we had maybe 2 months ago.
Yeah.
As for Kejriwal's statement, he's been making too many loose statements for so long.
Yeah.
I mean, in the first week of April, he said we have enough oxygen and we have enough beds in Delhi, being the chief minister. Next week, he said we have no oxygen. When Supreme Court ordered the oxygen audit, suddenly they brought us the requirement. I don't know what he's trying to do.
Yeah.
I mean, and you don't pass loose comments if you are a political person about some other country.
Yeah.
And you see, we all know that the virus came from China. We know that the virus came from China. And when President Trump said the Chinese variant, everybody went after him because how can you name a country? You will create hate against Asian Americans, etc.
Yes. Yes.
So nobody uses the country. Now people are calling the Indian variant Indian variant. They should not. BBC is calling that. Tell BBC to shut up, right? You know, we don't call anything. We don't officially call anything that comes from the UK variant. Even though the first variant was the UK variant, the UK variant that came to India through Punjab, because the Punjabis came back, they contaminated Punjab, and then it came to the farmer agitation all over the place. There's clear evidence it came from them, but we are not pointing fingers at them. So now they should not point fingers at any country. And for a chief minister to then say point to somebody else is unbecoming. Of course, the Ministry of External Affairs has said that he doesn't represent our views, blah, blah, blah. And Singapore has taken exception. I'm sure Singapore will always fight back if you try to, hurt their name. So I think it's not done. But the thing, Meena, is all of us have to be careful about the young children. And I appeal to all mothers and young couples in this program, Meena, please take care of the children. Please don't expose them. Please make sure they do online education. Another 1 year, we just have to sit tight. It'll go away. It is not more than 2 years. Please don't expose them. Don't take a risk.
Yeah. So do you see a third wave coming? And do you see the Indian economy slipping further?
Well, Meena, I'm much more optimistic now for many reasons. I'll explain to you. You know, when COVID happened and Modi shut down India, it's a good he shut down India. Because that time we had no PPE, we had no mask, we didn't know how to treat, we didn't know anything. There have been innumerable deaths on the streets. So he shut it down for 45 days. The economy was devastated. We came down some 23% in one quarter, April, May, June of last year. And then slowly we recovered. But the good news is, in the September quarter, corporate India had record profits. December, they had record profits. And March, they had even higher profits. So corporate India has done well, even though they shed some jobs and all that. The SMEs, MSMEs and others who have been very badly hurt because they didn't have the financial resources to come back, right? So the corporate India has done well. Now, April is not a good month. We've been locked down for most of the month. May is a disaster. I hope by June beginning, we'll at least start opening up, at least for those people who got vaccinated, at least one shot, economic activity can start again. And by July, we can come back. And if you take our shots, and by September, we have maybe 65 crore people who have got their shots. And even if a third wave comes, it will be of a lesser intensity. If you look at the data, in 1980, the first wave was a certain level. The second wave was 3x the first wave. And we saw that in India too. And the third wave was just 1x of the second wave. And the third wave is going to be a smaller wave. That's what the data says from CDC 100 years ago. So we must make sure from now till September, we get most people vaccinated. We take precautions. We don't allow the conditions to come. The only thing of concern is there could be a mutant, there could be mutation happening in the virus, and that could be more contagious. So, but we must make sure, even if it's contagious, the intensity comes down and people don't lose their lives.
Yes.
You know, Meena, one more thing which I must say is, Delhi has been having high pollution. A friend of mine told me his entire family had COVID, entire family had oxygen. He said because of the COVID and because of the high pollution in Delhi for the last many years, many of the people's lungs have been damaged.
Yeah.
I think people of Delhi and North India and many of the cities should stand up and try to work with the government to reduce the bad air. And I think, that's very, very vital, because if your lungs are damaged, anything happens to you, then you are in deep, deep trouble, as happened in the second wave. So I think now there are many learnings that have come. We must all take care.
Yeah. Janvi is asking you, sir, is there proof it's bio-warfare that's happening?
Well, I think more and more people are now saying that the virus is not a natural virus. It has been engineered, and they want answers. WHO went to China, but the Chinese didn't allow them to go to Wuhan and have a look and to investigate. And sadly, I think the WHO has been captured by China. That's what most people say. And Tedros, the head of WHO, is very soft on China. And I think the world is very concerned. Now, more and more people are asking questions. And I think it's very important for the world to get an answer as to what happens. I hope that many more people will do research and try to answer the question. Right now, there are many theories going around. I don't know what is right, what is wrong. But a lot of people, learned people, are saying that the virus is too complex to have come naturally.
Yeah. So if the whole country is vaccinated, do you think our economy will get back to normal as
Yes,
life
our
comes back
economy
to normal?
will come back to normal, and we will grow pretty well because our industry has become efficient and the world supply chain are now diversified. See,
Yeah.
before COVID, 24% of the global manufacturing was in China. The world is now more dependent on China. They want to diversify.
Yeah.
About 10% of the factories that shifted have come to India. I hope more will come to India. And our industry also should become more export oriented.
Yeah.
See, Meena, no country in the world has developed without having a huge export focus at one point of time. The
Yeah.
United States exported to Europe, and Europe exported to the colonies. Britain exported to India and grew their market and destroyed ours. Southeast Asia exported, Germany exported, Japan exported. Now China is exporting. If India has to go, we have to export. That means all our industries should build up capacity and export. Now I think they're
Yeah.
beginning to do, because they cut the cost. Our supply chain costs are coming down. Our railways have become much more efficient. Our roadways have become much more efficient. Goods are moving faster. Hopefully, costs will come down. Interest rates have come down. So I'm very optimistic that once this ends, India's economy will grow again and we could see a mini boom.
Yeah. So Sharmila is asking you, what steps can the government take to punish people who harm India, like media and Bollywood?
Shamila, my personal view is the citizens of this country have to stand up and show them their place. I know that Farhan Akhtar. I mean, I know some fellow is saying,
Javed
government.
Akhtar, sir.
Yeah, he's saying we can't. He's playing games. He was
Yeah.
the one who was, he was supporting the jihadi elements in Kashmir when they're
Yes.
fighting against CA. He did not know, and he's crazy. He's really
Yeah.
crazy. All these guys try to prove to others that they are liberals. He can't be a liberal. I mean, looking at what he follows and what he does, I mean, stupid to call him a liberal. The only way
Yeah.
you can fight it is if ordinary citizens stand up, point out to them, and point out and tell them, put them in the place. Then I think it'll work. For
Yeah.
example, you don't have to see his movies. Tell him very
Yeah.
clearly you're not going to see
Exactly.
his
His
movies.
movie is coming now, sir. He's
Yes.
a new movie.
I think if you don't like it, everybody must
Yeah.
stand up and say, we're not going to see a movie. That's going to
Yeah.
hurt him, right? That's how they respond. If you're living off the people, you can't keep on abusing the people of this country and try to make a living. It's not going to work, right?
Yeah.
Public
Yeah.
opinion is very strong. That's why the public should come together and point out and do that. Don't get carried away by a small cabal in Delhi.
Mm.
I mean, these are all the relics of the Raj. They
Yeah.
have enjoyed the benefits of power, being close to power for many, many years. Modi has shut them out, and then that's why they're abusing this country and every day saying Modi will fall, etc. They hate Modi, and I think whatever it is. And let me say, Meena, no prime minister has done so much for the poor of this country as Modi has done in 7 years.
Yes.
And these people don't understand that Modi lived in poverty. He understands poverty, and he's done a lot for the poor people, giving them houses, giving them water, giving them a toilet, giving them power, giving them education, health, internet connection, money in the bank, etc. He's done a lot. Now, I'm not trying to be political, but if you want to win the people of this country, you must gauge popular opinion and tell them what you stand for, right? You
Yeah.
cannot hope to win people and ask them to support you just because you hate somebody and
Yeah.
go on hating somebody. That's not going to work.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you say about the media, sir? People like Barkadat, who've been trying to cash in on the symmetry, photographs showing the people, being
Meena,
burned.
these are vulture journalists. The Rana Ayub, Barkada, these are vulture journalists. The Rana
Yes.
Ayub writes in the Washington Post. She exaggerates.
Yeah.
Apocalypse now. Is this an apocalypse? It went to 400,000, 100,000, 400,000 in 4 weeks. Has come down. Yes, our health infrastructure overwhelmed. You could not provide saying, hey, oxygen. Many people died. That's all true. That's all data. You see it happening. Nobody can deny that. But the fact is, we are surviving. We will survive. To say this country is destroyed, Modi has destroyed the country. And then she writes, I speak truth to power. You're telling lies. You go to this gullible whites who don't know this country,
Yeah.
who don't understand what is happening, don't
Yes.
understand the country of 1.38 billion people. Meena, every day in this country, 26,500 people die.
Yeah.
They die. Okay? I mean, because we 1 crore people die a year.
Yeah.
I mean, UK is 1/20th of India.
Yeah.
We are 4 times the size of the United States. United States had 35 million. I mean, 3.5 million. I'm sorry, there are 35 million COVID cases. India has got about 25 million. You know, we should have 100 million to compare with the US. We got one-fourth the US thing, right? Now, UK had 1,000 people dying on a particular day.
Yeah.
1,000 is 20, like having 20,000 people in India. There are
Yeah.
70,000 COVID cases in a day. There's about
Yeah.
maybe 14 lakhs.
Yeah.
Because they're 20 times the size, they don't understand. And these people write the kind of rubbish. And for Barkada to go to the cremation yard, she is insulting the people of this country.
Yes.
You know, a cremation yard is a sacred place for all of us Hindus. We go there, we do a puja, we bid goodbye to our loved ones, and we treat them with respect. We say our prayers and we come away. Right? We go there and we cremate them, and you know, that we give up the body. The loved ones give the body. That's our responsibility. It's not a spectacle. It's not for somebody to see photographs and, you know, whatever they do, they're not a spectacle for somebody to make money. She sold her souls for a few dollars. All of them are selling their souls, abusing the country for a few dollars. And they think the people of this country will like it. Nobody likes it. Nobody likes being abused and being exaggerated. It's all exaggerated. Today I saw the BBC to say, you know, the Ganga river is full of corpses. I mean, there could be 100 bodies, 200 bodies, 300 bodies. You know, UP is 22 crore people. In a 22 crore people, about maybe 4,000 people die every day. 4,000 people die. Now today, maybe 5,000 people are dying. If somebody dies there, they may throw the body in the water. It could be there. It will disappear soon. You don't exaggerate. Then you know, Ganga is, the Ganges is floating with bodies. You exaggerate. You don't understand. And the BBC stupidly writes all this kind of stupid thing. There are, you know, Geeta Pandey, the Saurik Mishra, Saurik, whoever it is.
Our Indians.
Yeah. There are 3 or 4 people who keep writing this rubbish all the time. He's the same person who called India the rape capital of the world. If you look at data, there is more sexual harassment, sexual assault cases in the UK per million population, 3 or 4 times what happens in India. And they write about India as if it's a white man's burden, Meena. These Indians are trying to please their white masters. They're following the same racist attitude, selling their souls for a few shekels. Selling the souls for a few shekels. And I know, like Judas did long ago. And they're selling the soul for a few pieces of silver and trying to beat their own countryman to grow up in the eyes of the white man. I think they should have some self-respect. And then they say we're talking to power. Talking to which power? Power overseas? How can you ask a foreign country to interfere? Some of them said, oh, now that Biden has come, Kamala Harris has come, they will tear Modi apart. I mean, are they out of their mind? What kind of people are they? Are they Indian citizens at all? You can have a fight in this country. You can disagree. You can never call a foreign power to interfere. That's treachery. And I don't know what kind of mentality these people, they're so consumed with hate.
And why is only targeted towards India? You don't have problems in Nepal, Bangladesh, or Pakistan. I mean, none of this is focused on. Why only India?
Because, Meena, they are Indians. India is an emerging superpower. We are $3 trillion. In 12, 13 years, we'll be $10 trillion. We are a bigger economy than the UK. We'll be a bigger economy than France. All right, we are growing very fast. They don't want India to come up. And these people, the people here, it's like the Jai Chans and the, you know, and the Mir Jafars of this Mir Jafar of history who betrayed their own people, right? They betrayed their own people, and they write kind of rubbish. I mean, they write all these rubbish, exaggerate to show outsiders that they're doing this, and then they say we are speaking truth to power. Then they say India is an autocracy. I mean, you look at the 400 TV channels every day, they're abusing our political leaders, yelling at each other, having free speech. Then we say we are an autocracy. What kind of rubbish is this? Then the Ramchandra Guha writes, oh, we don't have a functioning court. We don't have, everything is gone. I mean, they're so stupid. What is gone is his mind. I think he's lost his mind, consumed by hatred. And they say courts don't work. Police don't work. Nothing works in this country. You think all of us believe this?
So one media channel person was telling his friend that whatever news they're getting against the opposition is being removed, you know, and only attacks on Modi are being shown.
Yes, attacks on Modi because Kejriwal has spent 150 crores in giving them all ads. He's bought the media over. We know one anchor in India Today who lives in Bombay who never talks ill about Maharashtra because he's been bought over. All these people are bought over. But the sad thing, Meena, is do all of them believe that the people of this country are dumb?
No. Yeah.
Do they think the people of this country don't know? The people of the country don't have the brains to judge for themselves. They judge for themselves.
Yeah.
Look at the number of people who against them in Twitter. Number of people who abuse them on Twitter. And that Sharjil Ismana, somebody said, those who say, Jai Sri Ram thing. I mean, Muslims also make some slogans, right?
Yeah.
If somebody says any Muslim slogan is also like that, what will he feel?
Yeah.
I think somebody should file a case against 253 or whatever it is or the IPC and file a case against him for hurting communal or harmony. Don't do this. These are all hate speeches. Just like, I want to tell you this, Meena. In the Hindu community, if somebody abuses other religion, the enough Hindu people will fight back and say, don't do it.
Yeah.
Okay? In the Muslim community, I don't see any voices.
Yeah.
When people like this abuse other, I don't see any voices putting them back. That's the sad truth of the Muslim community. The stand to other communities, there are not enough people standing up for principles.
Yes.
And then they abuse the Hindus. I've never seen in any country the majority community getting abused by a small minority like this. I've never seen any country. It's a very strange country. And political parties like Congress abuse the majority community for what? I mean, the majority doesn't vote for them. How will they ever come to power? Don't they have some gray matter in their heads?
So we thought that when BJP...
Meena, I believe all people who are citizens are equal in this country.
Yes.
All of us are protected by the Constitution. We don't owe rights to anybody. We don't owe rights to a party or a family or an individual, anybody. Our rights are protected by the Constitution. We must make the Constitution work.
Yeah.
We have security in this country. The law will protect us. Maybe the law is a bit slow, but the law will protect us. And we must believe in the Constitution, keep the Constitution sacred, join together. And if anybody abuses, fight back. But the law is there. Only the rule of law can prevail over earth, right? Nothing else can prevail. So I think, all of us should understand, all of us are equal. And if somebody is insecure and tries to fight anybody, I think they must read the law and understand what it is.
So when the UPA was removed and BJP came to power, we were hopeful that the Hindu majority will be protected. But we find ourselves even more defenseless.
Well, Meena, I think the BJP doesn't understand how to rule. You see, the Congress, when they come to power, they make sure that whatever they want, they get. They remove all the people who are appointed by other governments. They, put their ideology. They change the textbooks. They write all kind of rubbish. They do what they want. And they do it nicely. And the media is very scared of them.
Yeah.
The media is very scared because they know how to fix the media.
Yes.
The BJP does not know how to do all this. They're not used to power. They're very nice to people. They try to argue with them. And I think they must learn how to rule. For example, our textbook has got so much of distorted history. Why haven't they changed us so far? Why do they still go with the Romila Thapar's fake history? Why don't they go with the history before Romila Thapar? Why? Because, Romila Thapar and the gang, all the Marxists changed our history, wrote all kind of rubbish. And being abusive of the majority community. Why didn't they change all that, remove all that? So people don't learn all that hate in our history. Right? I mean, these are people who make a hero out of Aurangzeb. We know about Aurangzeb, the hero out of Tipu Sultan. In Karnataka, Tipu killed 60,000 Kodavas. He killed he destroyed the Konkani temples. He went out to the Nayars and killed them. You know that.
Yeah.
He was a brutal jihadi. He was a killer and a butcher. And they want to make a hero out of him, call him a freedom fighter. It's such rubbish they write. Why don't we change all that? They don't know what to do. It's very sad.
So what can the center and state governments do to help in the unemployment issue among India's youth? Now that it's reached this.
Meena, the only way to tackle unemployment is to grow the economy faster.
Yeah.
It's only growth that can create jobs. Let me give you some data. Between 1950 to 1980, our GDP only grew 3.5% a year. Population grew 2.5% a year. We became poorer compared to the rest of the world because the whole world grew at 4.5% a year and our income grew only 1% a year. 1980 to 1990, GDP grew 5.5%, population grew 2.25%. So per capita income grew maybe 3%, right? 3.25%. So 1991 till 2020 March, the GDP grew at 8.5%, 8.6% in dollars. Population grew at 1.6%, income grew at 7%, and jobs are created. So it's only growth that can bring about jobs.
Yes.
We don't have enough money to give doles to anybody.
Yeah.
We don't have money. There's no money. So we have to grow the economy, and we have to remove the friction for growth. We must invest and we must grow. That's the one thing that can prepare jobs. And jobs are happening, and many things are happening, and I think that will take care.
Yeah. So how will the Indian IT industry, do what will they do in terms of job creation and retention in India? Anything specific?
Well, I think this year they'll probably hire 4 to 5 lakh people, 4 to 5 lakh engineers, because this year they're growing at 10 to 12%. The startup industry has already got about $5 to $6 billion. They'll get about $20 billion for the year end. We already have 13 unicorns in the first 4 months. So there's a boom period for IT services. 4 to 5 lakh good jobs will be created by them this year. So
Yeah.
all the people who got engineering, who know coding, will try to get a job, because they're trying to hire. The big five
Yeah.
are hiring maybe 125,000 people from colleges. So
Yeah.
I think this year is going to be a good year from the
Yeah.
IT service industry. A lot of jobs have been going. I was thinking that if COVID, the second wave had not come, the economy would have been in a boom period. We'd have grown at 12.5%, 13% this year. But sadly, we'll grow 2% less. That's why we want vaccination. We want the economy to open up so more
Yeah.
jobs can come.
Yeah. So should GST rules and IT rules be revised for small and medium enterprises?
I think GST should be simplified, because GST is good, and I support GST fully. It should be simplified and easy, made easy. Today, for example, because of IT, because the GST officials have finally agreed to simplify it, you're going to get a pre-filled GST return. That's happening right now, and that's very, very
Yeah.
useful. So I think that's very good. They must simplify some of the rules. Even IT, for example, I've been telling the finance minister, why didn't you have a simple tax slab? 0 to 5 lakhs, no tax. 5 to 10 lakh, 10%. 10 to 15, 20%. 15 and above, 30%. And
Yeah.
remove all deductions. Instead of that, she made the silly thing, 7 slabs, giving some some kusru here and there, as if we're all idiots, right? Why didn't you simplify and do away those deductions? Because the deductions are no use for people who are starting the career, and no use for people above 55 and
Yeah.
pensioners, because they don't use the deduction. He said, I give it for housing. Yes, you must give it for housing. Only 15% of the population are taking housing loans. Not everybody is taking
Yeah.
housing loans, right? So I think it's very important that they simplify that. And right now, when we have spent so much of money on medical care, I think they should be very careful.
So what would be some suggestions you could make to the government on these issues with regards to middle classes?
Well, I would say, one, give a moratorium on EMI till June. So at least, the cash flows are protected. Revise the tax slab so that at least for people in the middle classes, they will get some relief, because they paid a lot of money for medical thing. Revise the tax slab. Some relief will be given, and make sure that the liability comes down. And the third thing is give some incentives for revival of the economy. For example, my view is that the government should cut the cess on automobiles, so that cost comes down and people can sell, because we have to increase consumption. They must reduce the registration charges like they did in Mumbai for housing, so that any housing stock can be sold. So there are many things they can do. It doesn't cost too much of money to stimulate the economy, to bring a good feel-good factor, and make sure that people feel more optimistic.
So Joy is saying, but only 15% of the workforce pays tax.
No, Sujay, please look at data. Please look at data. Look, out of 1.38 crore people, 100 crore people do not have income to pay tax.
Yeah.
All right. 100 crore people do not have income to pay tax. They live on less than $2 a year. It's a poor country. Okay. Out of 38 crore people is about maybe 9 crore families. 9 crore families, right? Out of 9 crore family, because 4 in a family, okay? 9 crore families, assuming one person works in a family, 8 crore people file returns. 8 crore people, the latest data says. So most people file income tax returns. But the thing is, many people in business are not showing the full income. There are 2.24 crore people who file returns under the head income from business or profession. Their income they declare is less than the people who pay taxes on their salaries. Because salaries your employer deducts. But here in business, you don't have to show your full income. You can claim expenditure, you can do all kind of things. So I think, these are very important things that have to be done, right? So my personal view is, 15%, the people paying taxes are nearly there. the income from people who are in business or profession possibly are not paying the taxes fully. There must be taxes. So if you widen the slab, it will work. Because today you have a slab and you get a deduction when you take a housing loan, you get 2.5 lakhs, you invest LIC, you get this. Why all that? Leave it to the people. Let them spend money. Let them do what they want, right? So give them two options, one with the deductions, one without deductions, and make it easy. Let people choose what they want, and I think it will work. Because that, I think, will really open up. See, we have to increase consumption too. We must have savings, we must also increase consumption.
Yeah. So also the last question. See, just like what they did to Trump, are they trying to do the same with Modi ji?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if so, what would you, suggest that Modi ji should do, to sort of make this, diminish or go away completely?
Meena, I was on a TV channel in Times Now with Rahul Shivshankar.
Yes, yes.
There were 6 or 7 of us debating.
Yeah.
They were talking, oh, Modi will be heard. I told him, look, none of us are important for elections.
Yeah.
We don't have any following. Nobody cares about us, whatever we say. The great majority of people of this country like Modi because he has given them benefits. He understands, 100 crore people out of 130 live in poverty. He has helped them out. No prime minister helped the poor like anybody else. So what Modi needs to do is to make sure that he executes all his programs, make sure there's no want in this country in the next 3 years. Everybody's got a house, they got water, they got toilets, everything else which has been done. Second, make sure the middle class gets jobs by increasing growth and increasing investment in infrastructure, etc. And make sure that you show empathy and sympathy to the middle class to get them round. I think if he's able to do that, none of these people matter at all. Now, you think the New York Times, anybody matters? New York Times, Washington Post, even the Americans think they're not credible. Even Americans think they're too much left. They're nobody. Even the Americans don't care. Great majority of Americans don't trust them. You think they trust them? You think they trust the BBC? About 10 years back, somebody from BBC called me and said, what do you think of the BBC? I think BBC is a relic. Why is the relic? No young person sees it. Why? Because you're not connected.
Yeah.
You don't understand what young people want. You write such rubbish about a country. And especially in the BBC, the Indian reporters write rubbish. They abuse this country all the time, right? You look at the articles they write about India. Look at the articles they write about the UK. UK is all good articles. Development, etc. India is all negative. All negative. I think those who watch BBC must tweet and point out to them. I mean, do you believe that everything is about India is so negative? I mean, they write this rubbish. Because you know why, Meena? They're all part of the same gang in Lutyens, Delhi. They all go to the same parties. They all go have the same gossip. And if you start praising Modi or praising India, they shut you out. Because all of them are lost power. They're a clique. They're a bad clique. They're the relics of the Raj.
Yeah. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful conversation. And thank you for answering our questions as well. Good night and thank you again.
Thank you. And please stay safe. Please take precautions. This is not going to go away sometime. Please take all precautions. And may you all stay safe. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Good night.
Thank you. Bye-bye.